Recently, my soul pushed me with extreme intensity, and therefore I had to listen to her. I faced my greatest fear. I left my family and the world of illusion. The only way forward is to get out of the illusion, out of the triangle of hell. I must remember who I am, and then understand what the hell I'm doing here on Earth. I include the links to my video, I'm out of the matrix. It's a question of choice. World War III, famine, climactic devastation, economic collapse, or I heard about Albert Pike and the three world wars years ago. Very few outsiders know about the intimate plans of Albert Pike and the architects of the New World Order. In the 19th century, Albert Pike established a framework for bringing about the One World Order. Based on a vision revealed to him, Albert Pike wrote a blueprint of events that would play themselves out in the 20th century, with even more of these events yet to come. It is this blueprint we believe unseen leaders are following today, knowing or not, to engineer the planned Third and Final World War. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agentur, agents of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Moslem Arabic World, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. The multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, will receive the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Albert Pike. Of course, the unconscious masses have no idea about any of this and believe that the war in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine, now spreading to Lebanon, and the war between Ukraine and Russia will never affect me because I'm American or Canadian or Australian and so on. I was born privileged, and that is never going to change. Wars affect others, but not me. I'm special. Booklet number 4 of Personal Kratia, Politics Towards Individual Sovereignty, pages 90 and 91. I no longer believe in Santa Claus. Not only do I, human being, have a very evolved mental body, but I also have a powerful emotional body that is very attached to its world of illusion and fantasy. I still dream about a perfect couple, a tidy knit family, a sociocratic government, a self-sufficient eco-village, or even a lenient dictator. Should I continue to run after such illusory happiness? When I was a little girl, I believed in Santa Claus. Still, I knew deep inside that his big belly and even bigger bag could never fit down our chimney. I suspected that the reindeer could not fly, but I trusted my parents blindly and could not imagine that they would lie to me. The day I finally found out that Santa Claus did not exist, it was impossible for me to go back to my old belief. I have never believed in Santa Claus since. The same phenomenon is now in the process of happening with politicians, judges, doctors, bankers, scientists, teachers, policemen, soldiers, and so on. I no longer trust their poisonous gifts, their duplicity, and their lies. Thanks to the evolution of consciousness, the age of saviors is over. It is time to stop listening to their recommendations and following their orders and their laws. I can now turn inside and follow the aspirations of my soul. My fears will manifest one after the other, and I will take the time to find, welcome, and dissolve each of them through appropriate action. Booklet 1. If I decide to work on my fears instead of trying to change the government, do you think that I will be able to transform my body like the fish became amphibians? Yes, you will succeed if you show determination and diligence. But there needs to be a critical mass of personal creatias. The determining factor for all mutations is an unfavorable environment for the perpetuation of the old species. That is why the New World Order is a blessing in disguise. Eidesic evolution is based on a constant progression of its expression in matter. It is not satisfied with a few individuals escaping in nirvana or heaven. What Eidesa is planning is the quantum jump of a critical mass of human beings who, all at once, will go from global fascism to personocracy. These beings will behave as persons who know that they are Eidesa, incarnated in matter, and will act as such in all aspects of their lives. The moment has come for the Eidesic being that has been hiding inside of matter since the beginning of time to finally manifest inside conscious and willing human bodies. This transformation is presently taking place in my own body and inside all of matter. I can decide to contribute to this change or to resist it. The choice is mine. A colossal wall of death, fashioned out of all my outmoded animal habits and devastating vibrations of fear and death, is holding this extraordinary transformation back. As I become conscious of my true Eidesic identity and act according to my soul's aspirations, I gradually crack this putrid wall of death. Vibration of joy, peace, and harmony squeeze through the fissures like flash. For a second, hell on earth disappears. Time stops. A mysterious laugh flutters by. It's a question of choice. At all times, everywhere, both vibrations are superimposed. Love and fear, death and wonder. Those who will not be able to find a smile hidden deep inside their cells will die in their lugubrious suits and ties. The others will celebrate the end of illusion and death, ecstatic over their newfound freedom. An eidetic laugh will take them by surprise. In the above paragraph, it is written, at all times, everywhere, both vibrations are superimposed: love and fear, death and wonder. I am reconfirming that this booklet was published in 2009. In the beginning of 2023, Guy included this screenshot in her monthly newsletter. In the month of November 2023, the 8th or the 9th, the separation of the two time wave spiral templates will take place. The crystal spiral, natural, Christic, on an ascending path, and the Fibonacci spiral, inorganic, Metatronic, on a downward path. After a central start and long-lasting superimposed overlap, the spirals would intersect on this date, snap point, then separate and continue their way in different directions, one ascending, the other descending. Information from Ian Parks, Waking Earth. At first, I was confused and perturbed because I believed that sacred geometry was, sacred. And yet, I was faced with information that the Fibonacci spiral was inorganic, Metatronic, and on a downward path. In other words, the path of death. When I mentioned this separation of life spiral and the death spiral to my children, they dismissed this as crazy, just like all the other information that I have been bringing forward to their attention. Of course, nothing earth-shattering happened specifically on that date. However, my soul pushed me from within with increasing intensity, and by June 2024, I informed my loved ones that I am out of the matrix. This means I am no longer in contact with them because I am no longer participating in the daily human drama. That is when I made this video. I'm out of the matrix. My mother was extremely hurt by my decision, and therefore, with this video, I tried to explain things to her. She thanked me for the video and told me she watched it 3 times, and yet she still does not understand. I made a few videos on the time wave spirals. Please check my YouTube, BitChute, or Odyssey channels. The Fibonacci and crystal spirals are 2 types of forces, of mathematics and architecture. They are connected to 2 types of consciousness: the consciousness of life and the anti-life consciousness or metatronic energy. Of the collective of fallen consciousness, cut off from the source, known as Metatron. All living beings on Earth are infected with the anti-life Metatronic distortion, which is a distortion of divine energies. It leads to degeneration, illness, pain, death, and an implosion of energy instead of creating an infinite expansion, healing, creation. These structures have been placed in the 3D terrestrial time matrix by shadow beings to siphon energy from beings connected to the divine, human divine consciousness, for example, from which they feed. In my next video, I will start from the beginning, Personal Creatia's booklet number 1. evolution towards the new species. Infinite love. From millennium slavery to individual sovereignty. In the Orient, in the 20th century, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother discovered and anchored truth consciousness, the supramental consciousness in the earthly atmosphere. Once well anchored, the new consciousness was ready to move on to the next stage, its popularization and propagation. In the West, in the 21st century emerged personal creatia, the power of the sovereign person to govern oneself. Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga goes beyond individual liberation and undertakes collective transformation on earth. After the death of Sri Aurobindo, the Mother continued their work, and on February 29, 1956, the supramental consciousness was definitely anchored on earth. One single and sincere look at the present world situation is enough to convince anybody that it has reached a point of no return. Humanity is heading towards a monumental dead end. Let's stop repeating our obsolete ways, which can only bring more suffering. Personal creatia continues the diffusion of truth consciousness in the West. Substantial unity replaces the guru-disciple separation. Let us all spread the contagion of love. I'm out of the game. Like Truman in The Truman Show, I have taken my bow and left a world of illusion, this computer simulation to which I have given authority to manage my life. I leave the theater where I have played time and time again the roles of disciple, daughter, parent, dentist, entrepreneur, citizen. Today, I devote myself fully and without limits to spreading individual sovereignty, the truth consciousness that I have been experiencing since 2002. Infinite love.